Good morning, everyone, and welcome to day 2 of the Lighting Challenge Natural versus Studio with Sue Bryce and Felix Kunz here on CreativeLive. My name is Russ Andes. This is the wonderful and also delightful Susan Roderick, and we are your hosts for this 2-day workshop. So this is the second day of 2 days. Yesterday we taught, well, first of all, Susan, how are you doing this morning?
Thanks, Russ. I'm doing excellent this morning. How are you?
I am great. What did you think of yesterday?
Oh, yesterday was amazing. I love Sue Bryce, and I also love Felix. And I'm more prone to natural light photography. I'm not really a studio light photographer, so I just love watching them try to do the same shoot with both. So it really kind of shows you a lot.
Exactly, and I'm the opposite. I really love artificial light, and so it was really cool to be able to see how to get that natural light look, which I do love, with the artificial lights, which lets me do it anywhere and anytime I want. So it was very cool to be able to see. So if you weren't here yesterday, basically the format of the day was we would have Sue do some setups in natural light, and then Felix would then reproduce those looks using artificial lights. And it was really, really cool to see how it worked. I thought.
And they are very, very similar, but let's talk about people's taste and what they prefer, and maybe we'll introduce all of the students. So you could say your name. Again, let everybody know who you are. And I know yesterday, after the workshop was over, you spent a couple hours with Sue going over Photoshop and retouching natural light versus studio light. So what do you guys think?
And we should point out, those videos that they're making, or that they made, are being included as part of the bonus material. So we are going to do some post-processing later, and we're going to talk about the process. But these full retouching videos are going to be available with purchase of the course, so you can check those out.
Very cool. And we'll be talking more about those as the day goes on.
Absolutely.
So why don't we start with you? Let me know about your experience and where you stand today after watching yesterday and what you saw last night with Sue.
Sure. I'm Sarah. I'm from Portland again. And Facebook is the Sarah May, and that's Sarah without an H, just to clarify. Yesterday, I just liked seeing Sue in person doing what she was able to do with natural light, and then Felix just able to try something. I just like that he was really driving home, just get out there and just try something first. Obviously, the seminar is more geared towards him duplicating the natural light to show you that you can, accomplish both. But I just like that it was like, just go out and try it.
He makes you feel comfortable that you can do it too.
Yeah.
Which is the goal.
Exactly. Love it.
My name's Gabe. I'm from Centralia, Washington. I generically shoot artificial light, and so it was just nice to see how Felix made it a lot more simpler than I think I try to make things a lot more complicated, putting extra lights here and there and just trying to, overdo it. And so just seeing the results come out so it looks so natural. It was just mind-blowing, really. And then with Sue, how quickly she retouches her photos, that was also just I'm spending way too much time on editing. So
Interesting. So that was what you picked up from the evening session was how fast she is and how much you're doing too much work. Is that what's happening?
Yeah, way overthinking it.
Love it.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
My name is Holly, and I'm here from Seattle. I loved the class yesterday because it kind of destigmatized studio lighting for me. I don't know, it was done in such a way that, it's more like how I work. Experimenting and playing with the light, I think that's what I took away from the class is being more playful and not overthinking everything. Yeah. So I really enjoyed that. And then for the editing later with Sue, she's like a magician, kind of watching her work. And I loved how beautifully she kind of enhanced the photos and didn't over-process them.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I'm Christina with a K. You can find me at ChristinaHauser.com. And Felix was incredible for me yesterday because he offered me something that was life-changing, and that's really flexibility. I live in Florida. I'm from Tampa. The sun is always high, and I live by the sun, and I have these very short periods in the morning or the evening when I can shoot. And my priority is actually my husband and my child, and now I can shoot around my own schedule. I can emulate this beautiful light wherever and whenever I want. So that was a huge takeaway. And then watching Sue edit yesterday, I'm kind of with Gabe where I'm over editing. I blow up, my face is so big on my monitor and I'm in there getting in there, and she's like, no bigger than a fist. do what you have to do to enhance it. And she's just a wonderful spirit. It was great to watch her. She's like a candle loses nothing by lighting another candle, and that's who she is. She's just here to uplift us all, and that was wonderful.
I love that.
Wow.
Beautiful. And I also love that you hit on kind of one of the points of this, which is that flexibility, which is, some places have the problem of not enough sun, some places have the problem of too much sun, and regardless of where you fall on that spectrum, being able to have that flexibility by knowing this, even if you don't use it all the time, even if it's not your standard, having the flexibility allows you to really structure your life the way you want it to.
Exactly. It's empowering.
There's also watching Sue shoot natural light, and you see how little light she needs. Like, you could close down everything and then put up a diffuser, and you're letting in just a sliver of light into a room. So that gives you more options.
My name's Alicia Lindsay, and you can find me at alicialindsay.com. And I have the opposite problem. I have not enough sunlight because I'm from Alaska, so I'm so excited to be able to take photos in the wintertime when there's so little light.
Awesome. So good.
Alaska's like one big softbox.
I'm Kelly Coughlin, Kellie, kellyphoto.com. And yesterday I loved how I felt so much less intimidation towards using studio lights. I talked about yesterday how I want to feel confident walking into any situation, and I know I'm really pumped to go back and try studio lights. So I know my confidence going into a shoot is going to be much higher now. And then last night, watching Sue retouch, I was very surprised at how I might like some of the studio lit shots better than the natural lighting shots. So
I love it. I love it. That makes me happy. No, that's
very
great.
cool. That's very cool.
My name's Felicia. I have a studio in Richland, Washington. You can find me on Facebook or online at jonescustomphoto.net. Yesterday I learned I like shooting natural and artificial light, but I never like how my studio lights are half the time. So now I can recreate that. And I only get to shoot about half the year outside too, so that'll help.
Beautiful. Love it.
Hi, I'm Victoria Pavlatos at toriavaphotography.com. My biggest expectation for coming here was to be able to have the same feel across the board with my pictures, because my studio images look very different than my natural light. And I am so excited to go home and try it all, because now I feel like I have those tools. And of course, all of us just loved being able to watch her edit, and now I am actually going to buy the alien skin, because I had tried it before and I was like, and she showed us, it was like awesome. Totally awesome.
Very cool. Well, we are offering a discount for alien skin.
Good.
So actually, that is just with enrollment. I think 30% off of all alien skin. Is there anything else that people need to know?
Basically, if you RSVP for this course, and you can do so for free, if you go to the course page, you see the title of the course below us. If you open that up that's a link, and if you open that up in a new window, it'll take us to the course page. There's a blue RSVP for this class on the right-hand side of the page, so you click that, refresh the page after you've submitted your email, and then you can download it. And it's like you said,
30% off.
30% off, which is awesome. So,
cool.
And both Sue and Felix use alien skin.
And I swear by it. I swear by it.
Love it.
I have Daniel Troutman from Troutman Photography, and I liked watching Sue and Felix actually create a window where there wasn't any. In my studio, we don't have a window, and so I've been trying to kind of emulate that. And so I bought the 7-foot parabolics and all this huge equipment, all of these lights, and they did it with V-flats and one light, and I was blown away. I wanted to slap my forehead. So,
Don't do it too much. You'll leave a red mark. That'd be awkward.
Hi, I'm Lorenzo Hill. You can find me at lorenzohill.com. Biggest thing from yesterday is whether it's natural light or studio light, you have absolutely no excuse. So if you don't get it done, it's your fault. Don't blame us. It's your fault. So.
Nice, Lorenzo.
Love it.
Way to tell them like it is, buddy.
I love it. That's a perfect way to sum it up. And guys, so if you did miss yesterday, I encourage you to consider purchasing Anytime Access, because it was an amazing thing to watch. And we'll be talking about post-processing later, and you'll be able to see the full videos if you do purchase Anytime Access.
Are you ready to get started, Russ?
I think I am. Are you?
I am. Take it away.
All right, we'll do. So guys, we're going to do a brief intro to CreativeLive for those of you who might be new, let you know exactly how things work here. CreativeLive is a 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week education network. What we do is we bring you live content, and then we rebroadcast it later. So the way that you can, anytime you want, you can come to CreativeLive and learn something. We've got 5 different channels to cover. We talk about photo and video. We talk about art and design. music and audio, craft and maker, and we talk about money, and we talk about life. And whenever you go to our page, you can click on that top of the page and see a list of what is currently being broadcasted. If you see, some of them have the live tag. That means we are actually recording them and broadcasting them live as we go, like I am right now. And the benefit of that is that you can join in and be a part of the conversation. Now, if you want to watch any of the older classes too, that is wonderful. We love it when you watch those classes. If you don't see one of the older classes, one of the classes in our catalog currently being broadcasted, you have the option of purchasing anytime access to that course, as I mentioned just a moment ago. And when you do purchase anytime access to the course, you can watch those course videos as often and at your own rate. So you can go to the page, you can watch just a segment if you need just that segment. If you're going to go do a specific type of shoot or work on a specific type of project, you can watch just the segments that you want to see. Anytime access to this particular course costs $149. While it is live, we do offer a live discount to the price of $99. So as you're watching today, consider doing that, because after the rebroadcast tonight ends, it will go up to that price of $149. So it's something that you want to consider. Now, while you are watching it live, while you are participating in this live event, we love it if you join us in the chat room, because that is a great way to really enhance your experience and enhance the course itself. We want to hear your thoughts, your questions as we go through the day. We'll be shooting in the morning, we'll be doing post-processing even later on, and we would love to hear your questions that you have for Sue and Felix. So go ahead and click that Chat Live with Class Participants link. You'll see a window open up with some new, with 3 tabs that each have a separate purpose. And so we'd love for you to jump in there, ask your questions so that Susan and I can pass them on to Sue and Felix. Folks, it's about time. I'm ready to bring on the folks who are going to be blowing your minds today, making you see light in a different way. She is a glamour and portrait photographer whose work has started a global revolution in women's portraiture. She's amazing. We love her here at CreativeLive. You've probably seen something of hers before. He is new as an instructor to CreativeLive, but you've probably seen him in Lara Jade's courses as her lighting director. He's also assisted for such names as Annie Leibovitz and Mario Testino. He is someone who is a commercial and editorial photographer in his own right, who does amazing artificial work as well as natural light, and he and she are here to blow your minds and make you slap your forehead, as Daniel Troutman said. So please help me to bring on Ms. Sue Bryce and Mr. Felix Kunz. Come on out, guys.
Good morning. Good morning. Morning, Russ.
So good to see you guys. How are you doing?
Very good.
Great.
Very good.
What did you think yesterday?
It was actually, I said I can't say this on the air, but when it worked and I saw the images on the screen, because I've done this a lot, but never with Sue shooting it, and she actually, even in the artificial light, figured out how to do it. I just almost stood there like, I can't believe this is working so well. It's that insecurity just I got signed up to do this. You knew I could do it. At some point, I knew I could do it. But still, when I was standing there like, that insecurity is so strong still.
And I think we're going to see...
Yeah, everyone has that.
Yeah. I think we're going to see some of the images.
Matching fabric today.
Matching fabric.
That's amazing. All right, well, you guys are in sync here, so I'm going to let you go ahead and do what you do. Take it away.
Thanks, Russ.
So I have some questions for Felix to start off before we go into the natural light segment that are questions that I wrote lying in bed at 5 o'clock this morning. And I think for me, one of the most profound things that I took home yesterday was I'm going to buy the scrim and the strobe because I want to explore as much of how I can extend my style through using this strobe. I'm going to show you the images that we took yesterday, natural light and the strobe version. But this was my list. I did it on my phone on notes. The first one is there is no ladder. So when Felix said that, that has really such a profound impact on me because I felt, and when he talks about insecurity, you know, it's so easy to look at people that are standing up here and think we're so full of ourselves or we think we're so awesome. And everybody feels exactly the same way. Everybody out there, and the people that are normally the most full of themselves are also most filled with insecurity. And for someone to believe in you, is one thing. But if you don't, when you realize it, your own insecurity, and you embrace it, it's such an incredible self-realization, and it's such an incredible journey. So just for one moment, consider that we stand up here sharing what we know, not knowing if it's going to help. Now, there's people that will write things that say, I preferred Sue. Other people say, I preferred Felix. Other people said, I just loved you both. Other people didn't watch it all. But the truth is whatever you learn, you know, it's here for you to learn, and we're only showing you what we do. I didn't know what I was capable of until I started to teach it. And so if you're feeling that you don't know something, or if you don't believe in yourself, or you're feeling, remember, Felix, there is no ladder. There is no ladder that you have to climb up to be at the top. You already exist as a perfect human being that can have whatever you want, and just go forward and just get lost in that, not in the insecurity of not having what you want or who you think you are. Who you think you are is so multi-dimensional anyway, that it's only your idea. And you know, it's so interesting when somebody says, I believe in you, and then suddenly they give you permission to live your own life. Isn't that just crazy? And it's not about someone saying you're awesome, because there's days when you suck, you know, I mean, and you're impatient, and you know, there's days where I don't like who I am as a person, and then there's days where I validate myself, but I no longer need other people to validate me at all, because I just enjoy it, and Felix enjoys what he does, and that's what I loved about that, the no ladder, especially when you look at how young Felix is. So
should I say a couple more things about that ladder?
Yeah, well, the thing is too, I am old enough to be Felix's mother.
No, you're not.
In some countries. So when I see young people with all this openness and, you know, lacking in their ego and just finding their own self-belief, it thrills me. Like, it's a new language, I think, that we're all speaking, that we should empower our children with self-belief, not looking for validation from others, but the belief. And yes, please talk about the no ladder, because, you know, at his age, to work with the people he's worked with, and now his future career, to me, is just so light and wonderful because he embraces it. So.
I think we were talking about this a bit this morning, but I think I was brought up just to think, or let me say it in a different way. At the beginning of my career, I always thought, if I keep to my own integrity and I just do what I like, not what other people like, and I was young and arrogant, so I could kind of get away with doing that, it'll work out. And you know what? For years it didn't. I spent years just no money. I sold my motorbike that I came from a 9-to-5 job. I quit and I started doing photography. I sold my motorbike. I moved back in with my parents. Every purchase I made was utterly painful. And I thought, but I was still arrogant as hell. Not arrogant, maybe that's the wrong word, but knuckleheadedly keeping to what I want. So if someone's like, do you want to shoot this? And I didn't like it, I kind of went, no. Or if they're paying me, then maybe. And for years, that's what I did. And I was like, this isn't going to work. But something still told me, like, just keep doing your own thing. Keep pushing what you want, you know? How do I develop a style? I don't know how that happened. I just kind of followed what do I like, you know? And so when it came to kind of those opportunities that you talked about, when the guy said to me, there is no ladder, like, well, I can go right to the top. And I had already had some experience, but I wasn't going, right, I'm going to assist this person, then I'm going to assist this person, and then I'm going to assist this person. Because you actually work for the guys at the top, they're so much more professional, actually is easier than all the people in between with all their egos and all the weird stuff that goes on. So that's what I mean about there is no ladder. I think I was in the right place, and then it just went like that, you know? But I had to get it in my head first that I could go to that place up there.
Awesome. Okay, so my next question to you was, we got a lot of feedback last night on polyboards and V-flats. They don't sell V-flats in my country. They don't sell polystyrene in my country. They make polystyrene and V-flats in every country in the world. Trust me, they do. You can find it. You can buy cardboard. You can buy foam core, gator foam. You can buy sheets of white board, white paper. What you need to do is, and you can buy little ones. So if you can find little ones, you can find uncut ones. Yeah. All you have to do is be persistent. I know that is really frustrating, And I know that we've got hundreds of comments like, oh, we can't buy those in my country. Well, they don't ban them in the country. It's not, there's not a ban. Now listen, every photography studio, every commercial studio has walls of polystyrene boards. All around the world that I've ever been in, every movie studio has walls of polystyrene. You just need to find them. I know it's hard, but I thought to myself, let's just jimmy one thing. If we pull the scrim out, I just want to pull the scrim out and show this.
Let's get that scrim. Yeah, and I think hardware stores, in the home insulation section, they always have giant sheets of something, and you just paint it the color you need. Paint it white, paint it black. You know, I'm sure we're going to get questions. What kind of paint do we need to use?
Anything
white.
Matte house paint. And the one thing when you do paint polyboards, they buckle if you don't lie them flat to dry, and then you do have to lie them, push them up against the wall with some pressure against them, or they buckle, but they unbuckle when they're out of the heat. So try and keep them as flat as possible. But then it occurred to me that we showed you how to make a scrim out of fabric, so you don't have to spend $400 on the scrim when you're starting out.
We looked up yesterday, it's actually only $300.
Well, $300. I don't own a scrim, but I make a scrim out of polyester silk, and it's $4 a yard. Don't tell me they don't sell polyester silk in your country, because they do. And, you know, MacGyver it. If I could only buy a 30-40 sheet of gator foam, I would buy 20 of them, and I would gaff tape them together with white tape until I made a frame around there that had a hole in it or the window size that I want.
Yeah.
Don't tell me what you can't do. Tell me, okay, I can't seem to find any polyboards, so I'm going to try and think of some creative ways, or I will contact as many photographers in my area until one of them answers and says, I live in your area and I buy them from. So in Seattle, I buy those V-flats from Glazers. You know, and it's so amazing. I haven't found a place to buy them in LA, but I haven't looked yet. But I know it won't take me long to find them, because anywhere in the photographic industry sell them. It's not something we made up. I've been in the studio for 25 years. 25 years ago, we had polystyrene reflectors, same size, 40 mil deep, thick, you know, 10 feet high. That's what we work with. So I know they're out there.
I just remembered, I set up a studio in the UK in an old barn that I borrowed off my friend, and I remember I couldn't find a black backing for it, so I could find like a 10-foot tall white insulation, you know, in the insulation area of the hardware store, and then I taped about 20 sheets of black small foam core onto this thing at my house, and then I had to transfer it to the barn, which I did by strapping it on top of the car, the bungee whacked me in the face and I had a black eye for 3 days. But yeah, I completely...
Yeah, make it work.
And you know what?
Make it work.
After 6 months, I came back and those boards were all like peeling off, so I put them back on, but anything to make a black sheet and a white sheet, that's what worked.
Yeah, and I would do anything. I would paint, I would wallpaper.
Say sign shops also carry the large size.
Yes.
Sign shops, large party supply stores.
Yes.
I often see the 4x8 foam cores in there too, so it doesn't have to be at a photo supply store.
Art shops.
Yeah, art supply stores.
Framers.
The art supply stores tend to have maybe 6-foot instead of 8-foot ones, but they can probably order the 8-foot ones for you.
I think the 6-foot ones would work really well. How often do you need to reflect shoes? You don't. If you get 6 foot, put them up on a chair. Like, you know, you can make this work. There were too many comments of no's last night for me to...
There was another one, which is, how do I do this in a small room? And I immediately said, you've got a huge advantage if you're in a small room, because you don't need to block we have to block such a large area. If you're in a small room, just figure out a way to make that line bounce back a couple of times in that area. And you know what? If your wall is here, your subject is here, and the subject is squished against that wall, Sue's shown you how to do that. You need a room.
I need
like
1.5 by 1.5 meters to shoot in. So if I push them over in order to get amazing light, and they're just in a little alcove of shooting, they feel safer and you get better shots. So don't worry about space, because 3 by 3 meters is all you need as a shooting space. All we have here is 4 by 4 meters on the floor, and we've been pulling away. But when we were working on my section, we never went past 2 meters, never once. So, you know, you need another meter for the light bounce, and that's it. 3 by 3 meters, it's very doable. So my next question was, polyboards, V-flats, light, scrim, anything that blocks light. I could think of a million ways to make a scrim, because my creative brain instantly says, I can sew, I can hand stitch, I can, I can make that. I can make that, and there's always a way. how do other people use strobes? So one of the questions that I considered was, are people using strobes, like you bounced and blocked light like I did, but are they using strobes directly onto their clients?
Never.
Never.
Well, the good ones, I've never seen them point a light at the person. It's usually feathered.
Okay, so but my question was, if the strobe is turned away, so it's on the umbrella, and the umbrella is bouncing back. I've seen that a million times where people are shooting with umbrellas.
Into the umbrella.
Yeah, into the umbrella and back to the client with no diffusion whatsoever. But I've never seen you do that.
No, I don't like that look.
No, so interesting. So that was my question, because now remember.
But that doesn't mean it's wrong.
No, well.
It just means I don't like it, and I'm talking about that like development of style because it's not soft.
Okay, so I've always hated any look like that, and then I see the umbrella, and that's why when I said to Felix, I don't use any strobes, and he was like, why not? And I was like, because I don't like the look of it. It wasn't until he put something between the strobe and the client. Now, I've never seen anybody do that. And, you know,
to diffuse it.
Yeah. Now, there might be hundreds of people out there like, duh, that's what we do. But it's not what I know. It's not what I've ever seen. And I see thousands of photographers, and I don't see anybody do what he did yesterday. And so I want to show you what it looks like. So on our keynote, I don't actually have the remote, sorry. The left image is natural light. The right image is strobe. Now, interestingly enough,
I'm going to be over here.
We only took 3 shots of each look.
Hang on, which is which?
Left is natural.
That's natural?
Yeah.
I thought this was natural.
And it's interesting because the right source is higher, so it looks more like a higher light, and there's more background in the strobe than there was in the natural light, even though she was the same distance from the backdrop.
Are these the ones you retouched yesterday in Alien Skin?
And so I recorded a video of us retouching these so that you can have them. So amazingly, we only actually took 3 shots of each one. So we could have, had Felix had this up in more time, I think he could have nailed it within, you know, probably 5 minutes, just wrapping a little bit more, changing direction a little bit more. Like he did that so, you know, quickly, really. And it's such a beautiful example of, I could shoot that at 8 o'clock at night. And I've never been able to get anything like that in natural light.
You could shoot that if you had children and you couldn't work when they were awake and running around. Like that's one of the things actually someone told me yesterday. I've got kids, I can finally shoot when they're in bed. I can finally shoot, around them.
Yeah, and play. And night shoots can be fun. You can make it fun, especially if you have a crew. And I just like that idea. The second image was Katie, natural light on the left, strobe on the right. There is so much more detail in these images than you can see on the screen. I opened them in RAW and I enlarged them on the video for the retouching. I figured that the strobe was going to beat me in one great area, and that was at 125 shutter speed. It was going to be sharper. It was going to get more detail in the eyes, sharper on each eyelash. I was at 30 to 40 on my shutter speed, down as low as. I got down to 30 once, 40 and 50. And I also was at 640 ISO, so I was shooting higher ISO with more grain. When you see the enlargement on the eyes, the strobe does beat me in detail. And it was really quite interesting. The strobe images were softer than the natural light images. There was more detail in the background in all of the strobe images. And I feel very confident that I can create strobe images that look like my style of natural light after seeing this.
Do you think it's because all that light bouncing around in the back, it made it actually softer than even what was coming from outside?
Yeah, it was softer than what I was getting. But then we also had the really high stud.
Yeah.
And so we're getting a little bit of bounce over the top,
yeah,
which the natural light's only coming from here. If we'd had a light leak at the top, we may have got a similar softness in the background, or if I'd put more of a reflector on my back. But the truth is when this come up, the catch lights are almost identical, and only through the numbering system could you really instantly tell which were mine and which ones were Felix's, which I really loved. And really awesome. The next one was this. This is the only time where the strobe outdid the natural light. I feel like it was better on the background. There was too much light. I could have put a little bit more of a blocker on the background or pulled the background away from the light a little bit more, but then I couldn't because my light source started here and my background can't go back any further, so I am limited because he can move his lights, but I can't move the window.
I have full control.
I can move away from the window, but only as far as there's a wall there, and if I'm in a small room, I can't. So the strobe outperformed the natural light here beautifully, and the catch light is stronger in Felix's image. But look at the shadow on her chest, look at the shadow under her nose and left cheek and chin. Exists exactly the same direction and still very marginal, but a much sharper image in the natural light. The next image, this is where the natural light outperformed the strobe. Again, I only took 2 shots of this guy in the strobe. I feel like a little bit more jimmying and we could have nailed it.
And where left is natural and right
yes,
is okay?
Always, yeah.
Always.
So there is definitely a natural sort of leak coming into that image on the left side, which has such a beautiful quality. And there's definitely more of a strobe look through his face on the right. But again, you know, we were time crunch. So I feel like it's good. I'm definitely more attracted to the left image here. Just because it has such a beautiful mood onto the body and the bronzeness.
There's more contrast in it, isn't it, in this case? Yeah.
This was natural versus strobe versus speed. The natural and strobe outclassed the speed.
Sorry, the speed light's on the right.
Yes.
The very right, and in
yes.
the middle is the strobe.
Yes. So the natural light and the strobe compete very strongly. The middle image had a lot more detail in the background. The natural light image was beautiful. The strobe image was very beautiful. There's a very subtle difference that exists in the shadow underneath Katie's chin that makes the strobe give it more of a fashion commercial quality than the natural light does. And the speed light definitely performed. It doesn't quite compare, but it definitely, if that's what you're starting with, if that's what you're learning with, if that's what you're trying with, if you could pull off a shoot in a speed light with what you have and then afford with that first sale to go and buy yourself a strobe, you've already upgraded your career instantaneously with one job. Now, when I was working my way up to actually having no credit card and some savings in the bank, I looked at every future purchase as a future shoot. When I want a strobe, I'm going to have to do an extra shoot this month. If
I still do that.
I do too.
Yeah.
So if I do an extra shoot, if I do 2 extra shoots, then I can pay for that Kate Moss dress and I can buy that strobe light this month without affecting both my sales. And I will actively seek 2 paid shoots more than what I'm doing this month in order to get that.
Yeah.
And I transfer my goals and my needs to units. Like I transfer it to work because I know how to work, but I don't know how to manifest money from nothing. So I put my energy into finding work. And then I'm not looking for money or writing on Facebook, I wish I could afford a strobe.
Right, or I wish I could get an Oliphant backdrop.
Yeah, you can. So what I say is I want 3 more shoots this month on top of my 7 that I've already booked. I'm going to go for 11 shoots and then put it on the wall. And every day, look at it. 11 shoots this month, 11 paid shoots this month. And then when you're out there and seeing opportunity, it's like, oh, I'd like to photograph you. Oh, I've got a space this month if you'd like. You know, come on. It's about turning it into a goal, a unit, and then making it really achievable. Take that money, buy what you want. It's worth that.
Yeah, don't tell yourself that you can't have something. That's the first step. Like, you can have this, you know?
Yeah.
If you wanted to buy this light, you could do it. You don't have to, but if you said, I want it,
I just wish that I sold strobes today. That's all. If
I sold
if I sold strobes today, I'd be very happy. The natural light image performs better in the hair, but then we didn't talk anything about hair lighting. I don't like the back hair light that you see. I hate it. It's gross. So I wouldn't have allowed him to do that on one of my images anyway, because it's not something I want to learn.
I would never have even proposed it.
But I could have photoshopped more detail into her hair, but it definitely, natural light had a different... I feel like the natural light picked up the blue of her eyes a lot better than the strobe did, but then Felix did talk about putting a catch light just for the eyes that exists outside of the foam core straight to the eyes, which I thought was really good. This is again where the natural light outperformed the strobe, but again, I only took 2 images, so we didn't change the light much. We could have changed this around more. This was at the end of our last, fourth segment.
I mean, would you be too upset if you only had the image on the right?
No, but I would think it looked like flashlight instead of just... On
Yeah,
the right, I look
him.
at the light, and on the left, I look at him. And the truth is on the right, when I cancel out the left, I see a beautiful image that is lit well, but on the left, I just go, wow.
You got him, yeah.
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 And that's what Felix said. When you look at Annie Leibovitz, when you look at Mario Testino's work, you don't look at them and go, nicely lit, good shot. You just are so overawed by the beauty of the image or by not seeing the light. And there's such a subtle difference in not seeing light, and that's what he does, which I think is so beautiful. This was a film noir image which I shot low, 2 stops under, and then you'll see this Photoshop video. I bring it up into Photoshop, and then I bring up the highlights using the dodge tool, so it has that paintedly effect, so that video is on there as well.
Are you going to play the video, or is it going to be in the download?
Well, I'll play some at the Photoshop session 3. All right, so before we go into the natural light scenario, which I think is going to be his hardest lighting challenge, I've never... You know, beauty images, commercial beauty images are often backlit, mostly backlit, especially the beauty face images. And there's something about the way natural light shoots and the backlight, so I really can't wait to see that. But my next question was this. So how do photographers normally use strobes? They point them straight at scrim, umbrella. On the second shot, the second series, when we did the slit of light, when we did the body work, you took the umbrella off.
Yeah.
Why?
Because I wanted to show how you could do it with just the strobe.
Just the strobe.
Just for the sake of reducing equipment, making it simpler.
Okay.
You could do it with an umbrella and it would just end up being a little bit more soft.
Okay, so the umbrella made it softer.
Yeah.
All right.
But I wanted to show 2 scenarios so no one can say, but I don't have an umbrella.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the fluoro lights in your studio, one of you had fluoro lights in your studio, and it picks up a green hue on the hair.
Fluorescent.
And, the fluoro. So what you were saying was you have to have the fluoros on in order to see in focus. And you said make your shutter speed faster.
No. So that's another advantage you get from higher-end strobes. They have a powerful modeling light, which is used for focus. And that turns itself off when the flash fires.
But how does she eliminate the green from the fluoro?
Right. So if you're starting out, keep it simple. Turn your studio lights off. That's what I would say. Otherwise, it just gets really...
And use a torch to the face to focus.
Yeah, use a torch to the face.
Yeah.
My modeling light's not always strong enough, I guess.
Okay.
So if it is dark out and I don't have any light coming in, I have to use something.
And if she has to have it on, you said make your shutter speed faster?
No, you would need more power in that light
to
overpower it. Yeah. Because if that was really bright, that wouldn't even matter. The light.
So you could shoot all your lights on.
I'll play with it in the ball.
Yeah, exactly. On the ball. Yeah. If you have a Christmas ornament, you can just see if it's in your shot or not. And the other thing is, take a shot with your settings set up for the flash, but don't trigger the flash, and you'll see if you're getting any other light in there.
And so my last question was.
Yeah.
Dun dun dun. One of my most favourite images from this month came from a shoot that I did last week, where I took the backdrop, and my Oliphant gold backdrop, and I turned it this way, and I was in a studio that had big windows all the way along like this. And I always shoot side on to the light, because I always need as much light as possible. But the LA studio that you came to had lots of natural light. So I turned my client that way, and just like the natural light image, from that series where the strobe outperformed, it was leaking onto the backdrop and was bright on her face. So I turned it around so that the backdrop was here, I was where Felix is, and I was shooting my model here.
And the light was coming from behind you?
And it was coming from behind me all the way around me, and I put 2 black tunnels, made a black tunnel on either side, and had my model sitting in the front of it with her knees up, and she's wearing gold on the gold Oliphant.
Let's show that here, because I think, so the light's there.
Yeah.
You're shooting there, so pretend to be shooting me. I'm the model.
Yeah.
Right, and you put 2
black tunnels. And that
here.
blocked the light that was coming into the gold Oliphant, and it just looked like strobes, like it just made her glow and fabulous. So I thought to myself, I wish I'd done that setup. So I thought, if I get the scrim now and get Felix to show me how to create that look.
The tunnel?
Yeah, no, where you would put the light behind me with the scrim behind me. And if
yeah, it's actually, on my commercial jobs, I do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So question is, would you put the strobe, turn it around and put the backdrop over here and bounce the strobe off the white wall?
Yeah.
Or would you have the strobe bouncing back with the umbrella and it can stay over here?
You can do, actually, I would say both work, but if you have, let's say the backdrop's here.
So let's get the scrim in. So John, come in. I want you to set it up like I'm here. You be my model. And I've got a black tunnel on either side.
You know what? Why don't we just do the backlit setup, and I can switch that around in a second and show this.
Okay, and show it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah?
That's
okay.
perfect. Because I really want to know how to do... We did a lot of side lighting, but I really want to see the strobe and the scrim go behind me, just to see that directional light. So we'll do the backlight now then.
Yeah.
Or do you want to just set that up now? Because we've got Katie and she's ready to go.
Do you want to shoot your backlight, and then
Sure.
we'll switch it over
Okay,
after
and
you do
then,
that.
wait, I got one more question.
Oh, good.
Why are you so fabulous?
It's the hair. Genetics.
Okay, that was my note writing at 5 o'clock this morning.
Thank you, Sue. That's very deep end there.
So I've got a couple of things that I drew up last night.
I have a couple of questions
on my
for you.
iPad, I use paper
Sue.
and I use a stylus, and I draw up, all my scenarios like this, and it works like a little book, like that. And then I can go to the next page, and I drew up what Felix was doing, so I could remember and which direction the light was in, and where my phone call was, etc., etc. So I brought my iPad out just to show you how, I've just sat there and worked out my lighting maps, which we're creating for you. So I wanted to bring this out so I knew where to do that window
To
shot.
reference.
Yep.
Yeah, I sketch out all my lighting beforehand. Also
I sketch
to
my
kind of-
posing out because you forget posing otherwise. It's really, really important. Yeah.
I have a couple of questions for you. From yesterday, so you are convinced enough that you may buy a strobe?
Oh, I will buy a strobe. Yeah.
How do you think you'll use it?
Well,
What situation what will it solve for you?
it will solve the fact that I can shoot. Interestingly enough, I feel like it's going to be for my creative play shooting more than my clients, because my clients come for a certain look that I can, bang out really quickly, and I have my studio set up to shoot at a certain time of day, and I know it so well, and I can do it so, quickly. But there are just afternoons and evenings where I would like to shoot some beautiful creative work and make it look a little bit more fashion and do it for me. So for me, it's going to be for what I want to do next. But when one of you asked me last night, one of you students were like, why do you want to use strobes? And I was like, I've been a photographer for so long that if I don't try and get better, I'm not going to go anywhere. Like, I believe that you evolve or you die. And, evolution is one of the most incredible things. I want to learn. I want to be better. And I want to take pictures that blow people away, and I want to create beautiful work that makes me happy. But I strive every year to learn something that makes me better than I am. And I do never want to stop being better. Like, until it bores me and I'm going to go and do something else, I want to be better. And so I want to master this now, and I want to, create beautiful work. So,
Do you think you could have used this 24 years ago?
I'm glad I went through the life that I went through. Like, I don't regret my photographic evolution,
Right.
because I feel like, hand painting photographs with dye taught me so much. And so I feel like, growing up in this industry for me has been amazing.
Okay. Let's do your backlit shot.
I think if I'd started with strobes when I was younger, I probably would have ended up as a fashion photographer. And I don't feel like that is my power as an older woman. Like, as a 22-year-old, I just wanted to be cool. And as a 30-year-old, I just wanted to be paid. And then by the time I got to 40, I just wanted to help women and get paid. So I feel like I followed my true calling, and that was to make all women beautiful. So I don't think strobes would have helped me. It might have diverted me for a while.
Right, okay.
Okay, so natural light setup. One of the hardest things to shoot is natural light. The reason it's hard in natural light is because you never know what you're going to get, and it's always shining really bright. So we're going to bring Katie in. And Katie's already in her Hollywood makeup for one of the Hollywood looks. So she's looking very Hollywood catwalk right now.
Look at
Beautiful.
That. You have to
John,
do a
I'm
little
going to
dance.
give you this. Yeah. Katie is a dancer too. Katie and her boyfriend teach amazing Lindy Hop classes, and she's a beautiful dancer. All right. What I need to do is diffuse the light, get Katie to stand in front of it right there, and then I need to put a reflector here and a reflector here like this.
Should we use silks for you?
You know what? We can use the scrim. It's quicker. Okay. Yeah. You know, I can hang up curtains, but we'll just hold up the scrim because we have it.
Pick one or the lighter one.
It's quicker.
I don't care.
Okay, we'll use this one.
Well, it's quicker because it's set up and it's
Yeah,
there.
it's
But
fine.
I bet you if I had a curtain on the floor and you had an unpacked scrim.
I just took it. I'm not even. That was my victory. I don't need to talk about it more.
That's a cheap shot. It was just a side punch as I was running past.
Sometimes those are the best.
Do I need to put the ref shirt on again?
All right, so I need to diffuse the light that's behind her, put two reflectors in front of it and make a hole that I can shoot through. The ultimate would be if somebody took a massive piece of foam core and cut a perfect circle in it that my lens could fit through. And then all my client would be looking at is a whiteboard with a black circle, and then hearing my voice going like this, Katie, do this. There's a lot of light coming through this window right now, so...
Sunny, do you want me to close this?
No, I want more light. So...
Are you saying it's not the amount of light, but the quality of light that makes the difference?
The thing is all I have to do is be able to bounce it back to her.
It was a rhetorical question. I'm in some mood at the moment, aren't I?
You're not getting funnier.
Yes.
I want one of those sumo suits. And then I can pound you. Okay, so this is probably one of the weirdest scenarios in terms of... I'll hold this side if you want to walk around. This is one of the weirdest scenarios in terms of watching me shoot. No. I want two white sides, so come all the way around to me.
Sorry.
Yep, that's the one, like that. Katie's used to setting this up, just like me. That's it.
Can I just say I have no idea what she's doing? I'm like, This is learning for the first time.
All right, now Katie's going to stand in there. So we have to push this way. So can you see what I've done? I've created a white shell around Katie, bouncing light back to her. There it is. That's it. That's my natural light setup. And the thing is all I have to do is get Katie to come towards this light and away from that back light. And now the amount of light that's hitting her face is still less than the light that's behind her. But if I can get that as close as possible, it's still going to be 2 stops hotter, but the closer I can get it, close the gap. So if she goes back to the scrim, the background is whiter and her face is darker. But if she comes, if you want to have a look.
Yeah.
So when she's back there, she's in darkness.
Yeah.
But you watch her come forward. There, stop.
And there was light.
Yeah. So then she bounces into the reflector. Now, my half reflector, John? Okay, we need to go a little bit this way because she's not in the middle. All right, and you can come that way. My half reflector can literally go like this, push against me, and then I'm shooting like that. And this one is bouncing anything else. I will take anything I can get. I will stand like this and shoot with one hand, balance one on my knee, and then put a hairdryer under my arm.
It's like how we used your Hollywood, we used the top of a food serving tray
on
the Hollywood shoot to bounce some light. It was silver.
Yeah.
It was, Lara was like, use this.
It's amazing. And, that to me is one of the biggest sold shots in my studio. Because this window is high, I need to elevate her in order to, get better light. So I could put her up on a box, but I have to shoot up on a box. Another cool thing is, if we could bring the scrim down, I would take, Katie, watch the light. Don't move the scrim yet. I would take Katie down to her knees. Don't move it. And there, see how much more beautiful? It's still backlit, but she's not in direct light. Of course, now I can see the scrim, so I'll just drop the scrim down.
Is it far enough?
As far down as you can, so I can't see. So it's almost touching the floor, but, well, actually it can't go too far because you're going to lose light. See now, and I'm going to shoot that, and I'll shoot her standing up too. Then when I include this,
John.
and I open up more light to her face,
Undo this.
there is enough exposure there for a beautiful backlit shot. Now, very rarely do I shoot the backlight and need to composite the back, but if I'm in really difficult circumstances and I want to get my shot, I take the shot and then I change the exposure, I bracket the exposure and change it for the background, and then I will composite the background in order to not blow out my highlights.
That's what I was
Oh, okay.
You were going to have that line.
Yeah. And that line is a gradient, becomes a gradient, and it's easy to Photoshop a gradient. So I can show you how to do that this afternoon. So if that does happen, so I can shoot it down here. Backlit looks beautiful sitting down. It looks beautiful lying on your tummy, but you have to have a white foam core. It looks beautiful standing, dancing, leaning against a white wall with a window behind you. I have some backlight images on the keynote that I showed Felix, and they are not actually all on a white backlight. So the image on the left, Nico, there's 3 backlight images on the keynote that I want to show. We'll get those up. So the left one, she's doing exactly that. That image with the scarf, she's actually sitting below the window. So it's backlighting her onto a white wall no differently than this. And instead of a scrim, there's curtains. The center one, she's lying on a couch with curtains behind her and the window source behind her, but the backlight's coming up and over the couch. And I owe this shot, really, to Mario Testino. Mario shot Lady Diana in the black polo neck, mostly natural light, backlit on a white couch, and it changed my life. That shoot, I remembered seeing that as a young photographer, and I had tears in my eyes. I was like, I must learn this. Like, I want to shoot like this.
And that was one of the biggest shoots of his career. That established him.
Without doubt. It was beautiful. It had so much just divine mastery to it. And when I saw it, I just thought, if a single image, just like Herb Ritz and Annie have shaped everything I've tried to achieve, you know, in my home garage, Mario's shot of Diana changed my world. And I turned my client into the light, and I photographed her like this, and I literally cried. I sat there and I was like, yes, what a gift. And so this is my go-to. I photograph a lot of photographers because they also want beautiful photographs. And when you're a photographer, you get picky about who you want to photograph you because you want somebody who's going to get a good shot. I photograph a lot of photographers, and whenever I ask photographers how they want to be photographed, every photographer, not non-photographer, says, do the backlight. Like, they love all my backlight images, photographers do, and clients just like the shot, but they don't know why. And so to me, it's something that I think is such a powerful shot. Anyway, let me shoot it. Now, this is where I push my camera to its maximum in terms of ISO and in terms of pretty much anything, because there isn't a lot I can get away with here. I get what I'm given, so I'm going to try and work with that bright light. In a perfect world, I would have time. Felix, do you want to come and just sit here and hold this? In a perfect world, I would have time to go and hang some more curtains behind so that I have time to do this. Katie, just kick out onto one hip, like whichever side you feel most, put your knees apart, and kick out. How come she gets a cushion? She's young. And now touch, and then elbow back around your body. Okay, drop your hand down, just while I'm posing her. Sorry. So just kick your hip out a little bit more, drop your shoulder down, that's a girl, and then just touch and elbow back. Come forward a little bit more, perfect. Long chin towards me, that's it. And now chin this way slowly, good girl. Stay there. Okay, we're at 640 ISO at 2.8 because you know that's where we like to be. I'm just going to shoot a straight face shot so you can see what light I'm getting. I'm currently shooting at 2.8. Shutter speed is at 400. I'm at 640 ISO. Sorry?
Yeah, it's getting brighter. The clouds just...
Yeah, it's just bouncing up nice and strong. All right, so this is what I'm working with right now. How does my bun look?
Great.
My bun.
Your hair also looks nice.
All right. Did we get that on the tether? Katie, bring your chin. That's it, forward. That's it, stay there. Tiny little baby smile, good girl. All right. So that to me is, I know it's showing up with lots of contrast, but to me on the back of the camera, that's instantly, you can't even see the line. So can you bring it? Oh, the second one is just waiting. You can't see the line that's gradient on the background, so I would just start working there. I don't need to add any more curtains to that. The rest of what I do with this image is pretty much on Photoshop. Like I pretty much now start working on Photoshop, and I make it softer, and I put in a fill light in my RAW, which actually is really lovely because it concentrates more of a white fill light to the front. Drop your blacks down, drop your contrast down, make it softer. And this image suits the grain, and it is shot at 640. So stand up, Katie. If she's too tall, I may get you to do this thing. Can we get... Sorry, you got a question? Oh, yeah. Do you want to do it? Yeah, get her to hold it. Sit down, and he's going to get you to hold...
You know what to do. Just curious. I was actually going to do that without the reference today because it's pretty straightforward. I'm just curious how it looks. Lovely.
Okay. So from here, stand up. Now she's in brighter light. Come towards me, Katie. That's it. So when she's in brighter light... Oops, my V-flat's going to fall. When she's in brighter light, I need to get her closer to my reflector. So can you curve it around her? Mm-hmm. Both of you on the inside, curve it around. No, just this side. Yeah. Pull it out, John, so it stays open. There you go. Not so much. It's got to go back to her, like that. See her face? Yeah, perfect. I will close the gap like that in order to get through here what I want. So now I'm in really bright light, but let me just show you. Tuck that elbow back, Katie. That's a girl. Chin forward. Good girl. Now, when I shoot the film noir, I shoot 2 stops under, and when I shoot backlight, I shoot 2 stops over. Okay? Now I like it, so I'm going to work it. So I just got to get one good shot. So what I want to do, Katie, is if you put your hands up here like this and do a little bit of a shimmy for me in this dress, and I want you to look, so sort of bring your hands in. Don't take them out of frame, so bring them in. Maybe even, let's just put them down and pull your elbows back. That's it. Maybe hold the dress at the back and your elbows tuck in so that you've got a reason to tuck back your shoulders. And I want you to do a little wee shimmy like this and just a little bit of movement and see if I can pick up a swish. That's a girl. I want you to look. That's it. And now I want you to do that with a big smile. Good girl. Oops, sorry, I shot the backdrop. Okay, more shimmy. I want to see that dress move. Good girl. More. Now, a big laughing. Good girl. It's perfect. Okay, and then I'm just going to get her to shimmy and move in the light. I just wanted to get her to flick that dress more. And I think I could definitely get more movement in that dress and more sort of, soft, beautiful. Maybe what I can do is just pull that one back. Let's go again. But I want you to move a little bit more, sort of yeah, that's it. Now, don't smile with your teeth. Just look down and smile because it looks so pretty. Good girl. That was beautiful. And then you see the movement, then you see what it creates. And I think that the backlight just is magical. And she could just laugh and dance, and I could do beauty shots. Katie, turn which side your hair curl on. Put your hands up on the top of your head and just push your chin forward. Really push your chin forward. Your back hand, your left hand, just slide it up higher. That's it. And touch the top a little bit higher. That's a girl. Now lift your chin up to me. That's a girl. Now there is a little clip on this dress which you can see, but I'm just going to shoot it. Just take your hands up so I can't see them. That's it. let me shoot through this hole. Just take your fingers of your left hand up so I can't see them. That's a girl. Chin up. Perfect, good girl. I can do sitting down ones, box shots, anything, but that's my space that I get to work in. That's what I get to move in. It's shooting nice and fast. It's a good fast shutter speed. 400 is my fast shutter speed.
640. Oh, yeah, shutter speed 400. I want Sue. Can I interject and show something? So Sue set this thing 2 stops over, 2 stops under, and I just want to show you what she actually means. If I use the meter in the camera, the little dial that's telling me how bright it's supposed to be, and I get it into where the camera thinks it's supposed to be, this is the shot that results. See that? Can you see on the screen?
Yeah.
It's kind of dark. It's not that look. So
I think that's what most people try, and then it doesn't work, and then they don't get it. Now, when you overexpose the face, which is what I'm metering to, remember, it's the camera. The white picks up the white, which tries to underexpose to allow for the amount of light coming in. Just like when you shoot black on black, a black dress, black hair on a black background says, need more light, so it overexposes the face. Yeah. So that's when you look at the back of the camera and adjust it in the opposite.
There's a meter in your camera, but just use the screen. That's
always
so
use the screen.
We ended up at 1600th of a second, 1,006. Oh God. I'm going to go back down to 1/400th of a second, which is where Sue was, which is exactly 2 stops over, and the camera is going to scream and say, "You're overexposed." Just ignore that. And Katie, give me a shimmy, please. Lovely. Not quite as good as Sue as that, but yeah. Just look at the exposure, not the picture, and it'll look the way that Sue kind of intended. That's what she means by go 2 stops over. And when she's saying go 2 stops under, you just do it the reverse way.
Okay, so let me take a nice shot so I've got a good shot to compare, and then we'll set up your lighting setup. So the first one I think would be, Felix, what did you just do then? Oh, it's busy. Tether is busy, sorry.
I'm innocent. Tether's busy?
No, it's come back. All right, just elbows tucked a little bit, Katie. That's it. Don't pin your shoulders back, though. Good girl. Chin towards me. That's it. Yeah. Did we lose the tether, Nico?
Well, we can compare it to an image you shot just before I stole the camera.
I know, but I want a nice one.
Ah.
Elbow back. Back. Okay, I'm going to pull back just a little bit. I want one more dancing, laughing. So the way you were moving was perfect. Let's do that again. A little bit more smile. Push your chin forward. Good girl. Okay, we're going to do this with a big smile. Real one. Good girl. Keep going. Now this time kick out that shimmy more so I get more movement in the dress. That's beautiful. There we go. No, do one more. And I want a gorgeous, that's beautiful, good girl. And now this time look at me, but keep shimmering. So look up, that's it. Perfect. Nice, Katie, good girl. Thank you. All right, now we're going to set up the studio light version.
Yeah. Okay, all I need, this is great, actually it's going to be really simple. John, would you take that? I'm going to take these, Katie, you can relax. I'm going to take these about 1 meter, 3 feet over. Actually, why don't I just take these away so we can see what's going on, and then I'll set them back up. Oh, thanks, John. It's like, what's going on? We're going to close the curtains. Move this over a bit. And I'm going to keep this quite low, and I'm going to show, we're going to do this slightly differently than Sue's done, because I have flexibility. I'm not limited to that window up there. I can shoot this further down. Put that there for Katie. Right. So, which one of these is set up? This one? Okay, great. Let's get that shoot-through umbrella, John, that we had.
Why is it called a shoot-through?
Because light passes through it. And it's like a diffuser. I'll actually show it when we get it on set. There it is.
And that's different than the silver one that you reflected.
So this one is kind of like a silk. If you had a silver inside, it would bounce light back. And you shoot through. Is that right? John, I'll do it. Thank you. So just mounts into here, like we had it before on the first setup. And then I'm going to, would you just twist this away so that I can show the students what we're doing? And now I'm blocking all the cameras. Yeah, well, hang on. I'll just twist this side. Put it back. I'll put it right here. Now, I'm using this wall. The light's going to shoot through, bounce off this wall, and come back. This actually has a little bit of reflectiveness inside of here, so we're going to get kind of 2 layers of light. One's coming back from this, and then maybe 50% of it is going to hit the back wall and come back as well. So we get that soft light, super simple equipment setup. You don't need a lot of stuff. And again, I'm going to angle it kind of like it's the sun. Stick it about here. No rhyme or reason for the distance to the wall. If you have a smaller room, you can put it closer to the wall. It's okay. John, let's put this back in. Good. Turn on my Pocket Wizard. And where's the camera with the Pocket Wizard as well?
You want the ND filter too?
No, that's fine. We can play around with this. And if I can get Katie, I'll just do a light test and see where we've ended up.
Model.
Oh, she's coming
That's
back.
right, we can take questions.
Yeah. Well, we can try it. Sue,
Okay.
would you do the honors? You can, yeah, because we're quite low now. So I'm going to start at that shutter speed of 125th of a second, like we explained yesterday. And I'm going to take my ISO.
Where's my ball?
Oh. Right, let's take some questions from the audience while we get Katie back. Anyone have a question about this setup?
You don't want to take a photo of me?
I do. Just a second.
So is a shadow never cast from either the light sitting there and bouncing light, or when you said you were shooting under your backdrop, you're never getting a shadow coming in and affecting your light at all?
You mean because there's a stand?
Right.
Usually it kind of wraps around quite nicely. Yeah, because we're putting so much light, it kind of bounces everywhere.
Okay.
That's kind of what the sun is doing as well. And it's diffused again as well. If you didn't have this, I think you'd probably see a shadow. Yeah.
Just kind of a more basic question, Vicky LH. So really what you're trying to do is slightly blow out your background to make it bright enough for the face.
Right.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Sorry, Sue.
Well, do you mean now with the strobe or just shooting in the backlight?
Shooting in the backlight in general.
Okay, so the deal is this. When Felix took that shot on a normal exposure, which is what the camera metered because it gets confused by all the white light, it underexposed the girl, but had a perfect exposure of the background because that's the biggest space in the shot. So I pushed 2 stops higher on my meter because what I want to do is go against what it's telling me and expose for the girl, which pushes the background 2 stops up. So unfortunately, if your background is, say, 3 or 4 stops brighter than the girl, it's going to just blow it out, like burn it. And you're not going to have any details, and you'll get banding. And cameras these days can handle it. They couldn't at first. We'd just get these massive bands of magenta when we pushed the background light. But now they can handle it. But the trick was to walk her away from the light and closer to the reflectors because it made her face lighter, and then it read better. The meter read better, but I only took it up 2 clicks, and to say 2 clicks over, and it was a perfect exposure on her, and we didn't burn the highlights too much. Although I will say, you can see the separation in this image. When I shoot in my studio, I paid to have my big window frosted, and it's so soft that the light behind her isn't competing so much. So really what Felix has to do is light the front and the back here. Oh, you're not going to put a light in the front, are you?
No.
You're just going to put reflectors out.
Same thing. So I want to show how it is if we don't have the reflector. So if you would kindly pose, and I will take a shot of you. Just make sure my flash is firing. Good. And remember, guys, I haven't paid attention to what power the light's on, because I'm just going to test it in here. Right. This might not be too flattering, Sue. I'm sorry. Hang on.
It's all right. I can handle it.
That's actually a good starting point. Let's get that up on the screen. It's brighter on here, but I like the light on the back, and all I would diagnose with this is we need to bring light in from the front.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm going to do that.
So you've actually got a softer backlight than I had, because I can see it already.
Yeah. That's what I like to hear, Sue. John, let's drop this down so that it's on the floor. I think we can get those floor shots. So again, I'm not doing exactly the same thing Sue was doing.
And coming up on your knees again.
I don't have that restriction of the window being up high. We're much more flexible here.
Yeah.
With our setup. Right. If you unscrew this. It's stuck down there. This is why you use silks, right, Sue? There we go. Sorry, this is the dirty, dark backstory of photography. Good. So I'm happy with that backlight. John, let's put in those V-flats in the same fashion.
So the light is facing away from the scrim, bouncing into the umbrella that way. Yeah. You did that yesterday, and then you turned it around and shot. Well, the first one you shot the umbrella and then bounced back to the. Would you be able to do both?
Yeah, we could. What I did yesterday is I moved this like that.
Can you see Felix on camera?
I moved this kind of over to the side, so actually no light is bouncing in any direction back to where the subject is. This is completely feathered. It's just the sides kind of skimming across. Okay. Kind of as if you're not getting any direct light. You're getting the edges of it. But for this, the backlight is going to be a little bit harder to kind of blow out in the same way. You didn't worry too much about the sun coming straight into here. But
I can't change the sun.
Yeah, I know. But you didn't worry about it being harsher. It's actually nice if you have a big, strong light coming in from the back. So that's why for the first time, the light is kind of angled in a way that it bounces almost straight back.
All right.
Yeah. And I'm actually going to show one other little trick as well once we've got this set up. So V-flats.
I feel like my greatest problem or block with lighting was that I was going to have to change how I shoot. And I feel like all I'm doing is making the sun around how I already shoot. That's probably something I learned the most about these last 2 days, don't you think? And how achievable that is, because I already know how to do everything else. So all I have to do is pull away from the window and make my own sun, right? And that really makes a huge difference to how I shoot and when and where.
So the other thing is now we don't even need to use that ND filter, because what I shot of Sue, the reference there, is at f2.8. It just kind of works that way because we're using that really bright light from behind.
So interesting again, I'm in the same situation I was in yesterday where she's in darkness.
Right, so we have to...
Just knees apart, Katie, and just kick out this way. This elbow goes around the body. Yeah, that's a girl. Stay
Let's
down.
see if I can turn up that model lamp.
Yeah, that's what I'm working on
here. Here, John. You just turn it up there.
Turn up half an inch, honey.
Oh, it's already the max. It cycles through 3 times sometimes.
Don't worry, that shadow behind is the boys.
There it is. That's John. So I've turned up the model lamp a little bit.
I think the ISO needs to come up a tickle.
Yeah, you're metering at the back of the camera. Purists will tell you that's not okay. I don't care.
Oh, it doesn't need to.
Your clients don't ask you if you metered with the back of the camera or,
Little baby smile. Good girl. Beautiful. What do you think?
Let me see it on this. That's beautiful. Good. Let's. I want to do a reference shot just for.
Oh, the ball.
Just for fun. Thank you, John.
The temperature that when we shoot lights, the temperature is clearly redder.
Yeah.
And when I opened it in Photoshop, I found that to be the most difference in our images.
Interesting.
Because we photographed the same people and the same poses, and the poses were almost identical.
Yeah.
The shadows were so close, but the temperature was significantly different. And you can alter it to a certain degree, but when a skin tone picks up a warm, it's very difficult to take it into a cold.
Yeah, I actually take out some of the red as when I import into the program, I automatically take out some of the red.
You do?
I don't know why it does that. I think it's probably got something to do with the physics of the skin,
Yeah.
how it reflects sunlight. And yeah, that is a difference. Luckily, we shoot in RAW, so we can adjust all of these things.
Yeah, so you take red out of most of your images?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I shoot cold. I like cold work. I like cold cyans. So, yeah, okay, so you take red out when you're like...
Yeah, we just had a question over here related to this.
I can't really see the picture on the other side, but I know when we did the natural light, you guys used the half white reflector there. Is it necessary with this, or is the studio light kicking up enough?
I think one of the things is we have the backlight is lower down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so
we didn't need to.
Because of the way the angles, you know, it was coming from here and doing this onto Katie. Now it's coming from here. The light that's bouncing back is more in Katie's face. So that's probably why Sue didn't notice it right away, but we can try it. Right, that reference is actually quite different, but I wasn't trying to make the reference work exactly for this.
Well, she's actually standing in my one.
In
so
your one.
I can get her to stand up. You need to put the scrim up. Yeah.
How tall is she? That should work. Let's see how that looks.
Okay, oh yeah, that's working. Just step towards me, Katie, because I need you towards the reflector. That's it. And I think this was back a little bit because you were dancing. That's it.
So can you see in my shot, these lights that are on in the studio don't register at all. So we have enough of that flashlight that it overpowers these completely.
Yeah, it doesn't even show up.
Yeah. So I think I'm happy with that's close enough for me.
Okay.
You're right, there is that redness, isn't it? Coming in. Okay, and let's try it also with that reflector from below. Like
how do you remove your reds in your RAW files? Do you do it in Lightroom?
Aperture. I use aperture.
Okay, and you just remove your reds in
When
curves?
I import it in the colors,
yes.
I just take the saturation down on the red slightly and I add a bit of yellow. But that's just a personal preference.
Yeah, but yeah, that's great. That's a great tip.
And I also, I don't know how it works in Lightroom, but in Aperture you can change the tint from green and
yes, you
red
can
on the
too,
white balance.
on RAW window and Photoshop.
Yeah, so that's usually I kind of play around in there a little bit.
Okay.
And you know what I would do here is you have some gray in the picture you can just drop on. You know, you can use that dropper to highlight the gray and then it figures out your white balance for you.
Okay.
And Aperture is really good at auto white balance now as well. Just hit it and it usually gets it right.
All right, so what I want you to do now is the shimmy again. And when I get the best shimmy, it's this side, when you turn your left shoulder towards me, and then just chin, no, not that far, just keep doing the shimmy, but it's this one that I click on, yeah. And so just elbows back a little bit, hold the back of the skirt a little bit more instead of the front, that's it, and then just give me that little flick. And let's just do it not too far, Katie, and then just smile and look down. That's a girl, beautiful, don't stop doing that because that's amazing. All right, now push your chin forward just a tickle and a little bit more of a smirk. Good girl. Okay, push your chin forward a little bit more and do a big smile. Don't turn so far, just flick more with the dress. That's a girl, that was beautiful. And let's do that with like a laughy, laughy, laughy. Good girl, that's gorgeous.
The same, she has these beautiful cheekbones and you're getting that same highlight just under the cheekbone.
Yeah.
And both lights. Beautiful.
Okay, I'll do one more because I just got you on the side. I know that there's probably one more coming, but let me just nail it because I want a good shot. A little bit more of a smile. That's a girl. Elbows back. Beautiful big open smile and more flick on that dress. Give me a real smile.
Okay, great. So I wanted to show you one other little trick actually.
Sure.
Because that works, right?
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, perfect. If Sue's happy, I'm happy. I want to show you one other trick. You talked yesterday about kind of getting a flare into that image, and I want to show you how you can do that just past the face. We go.
Can they roll the TV out so we can see it right here because we can't see the picture?
No, they can't, but we'll pull this down.
Okay.
John, while we're talking, slide this one across so everyone can see what we're talking about. This one.
So I can do two things here. Actually, John, let's do both versions of this. Would you mind plugging this in for me?
Okay, Felix, here's a good question.
Yes.
On the natural light image, one of the things I do like about natural light is how much of the light comes into the body and face.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you can just go up on your ISO a little bit, or I could turn the light up a little bit.
All right.
That's that wraparound effect, you mean? Yeah. Natural light does tend to have a little bit of a difference there, because it's, you know, this is a very simple version of it.
Yeah.
I'm going to show how I set it up with two lights, and that might also make it wrap around a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm going to keep the umbrella where it was. And we're going to compete for space here. And I'm going to put a light, Sue, right behind Katie's head.
Okay, so pull the scrim back so the students can see. Go that way, Katie, that way.
And again, I'm not too worried about these shadows. Everything kind of bounces around and it's fine. Is this thing on? And this, if I'm using two lights, I mean, I don't want to make this complicated, and I'll show it with one light as well. I'm just going to turn the second one to its lowest power so that I don't get confused and start overpowering this guy. And what I'm trying to achieve, let's get the scrim back in. And this is probably the best for a close-up, maybe just a headshot. And Sue, if you get Katie to stand, you can see that second bulb, can't you? Just skirting on the edge of that, where it's behind her face, and you should get a beautiful...
Do you want her to stand against the scrim?
Yes.
Or away from it? Okay.
Yeah, or she can come away a little bit as well, wherever you were.
Go this way.
And then you can just move your camera to kind of get that in, and you'll see the effect it has. We'll put the V-flats back in for you.
So if you can, I don't know if a camera can get through this crack here, but it's kind of neat to see that light feathering around her now. Okay, so hold the dress, elbows back, nice and strong. That's the one.
And I'll turn,
Just bring your chin this way and stop. That's a girl.
And remember, we've added light now, so it'll probably look a lot brighter. And just move her so that your lens is really getting that.
So I can see the whole light. So do you want me to cover it, or?
It's not firing, that's why.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We actually need to make it fire. Oh, I didn't turn the pocket wizard on. Rookie mistake. Right, let me try that. Don't do this at home. Don't look at the light while you fire it. You're going to get blinded.
Oh. Chin up a little touch, honey.
Moment of truth. You see how it's like getting that really bright, like flary light almost?
It's almost too much, but it's...
Yeah. She looks like an elf there in that picture. Let me turn this second light up a little bit so it's a bit
That's a compliment,
stronger.
by the way.
Yes, it is.
Because Felix is a rabid Lord of the Rings fan.
Yes. I'm surprised there hasn't been more Lord of the Rings references, but Sue knows.
We speak Elvish.
Yes. Okay, so I've turned that up to double the power, that extra light we've added in, and let's just see what happens when you do that. You might have to change your
Chin this way, darling.
Your ISO to be less sensitive.
It's at 125 right now, so I can't change it too much.
You can go to 100. See what happens. Oh, that's really bright, isn't it? Wow. She's turned from elfish to alien.
We are seeing the JPEG.
The JPEG version, yeah. On the back of the camera. Yeah.
It is bright, and it's lost
bright.
a lot of darks.
Okay.
But my camera's set to neutral, remember. It's not set to contrast.
And I'll show you what happens if I turn that soft umbrella light off, and we should get a really strong flare.
Okay, because we've got 12 minutes, and we want to do the black tunnel light behind as well.
Oh, yes, we do. Okay. Well, this just takes a second. So we'll do a couple of shots and move on.
Back this way, chin back this way.
So now I've turned off the light, the original light with the umbrella, and you might have to change your settings because it's going to be very dark.
Go up on my ISO.
Yeah, go up on your ISO.
Oh, it's actually quite lovely.
Yeah, and you see you're getting, on the right, you're getting a lot more light, and it's kind of more directional as if the sun was coming in. And here is where a thinner diffusion cloth, you would get more of that effect. Like
okay, I turned my ISO up and I didn't need to.
Oh.
160 or actually 100, probably I'll do 125. Tell me something, this is almost better than the first one.
Yeah, but that's because we've got the diffusion cloth here is fairly thick, so you're not going to get that burn.
So that is 125, 2.8, ISO is 125, And can you just show them the light that,
Yeah.
just deconstruct it so that they can see what you actually just did then,
We'll move
because
to the
that
next.
actually is closer, I think, to the natural light than the original light.
And that's because you had the sun in your natural light shot, giving quite a focused light. If you had shot your original with cloudy sky.
No, don't move anything. Don't move
I
anything.
know, but this one wasn't on.
I know, but you had it set up bouncing in there, and it's...
So originally, this one with the umbrella in it was on, creating a really soft kind of light box from behind. Then I added this, and both were firing, but they were kind of still creating a really soft light, so I turned this one off. And the last shot there is just this one. That's why you're getting a little bit of a warm, hotter light from this side, giving it more of a gradient. So I'm going to be Katie. Sorry, I'm not as pretty. The light in relation to her was kind of here. You can move her so that the light is just coming into the edge of your camera frame, and you would get that highlight just at the top of your frame. You could move it so it was over here, coming over above her head. So you can mess around with that. Move her. If it's right behind her, it's going to come on both sides. And if you use a thinner silk than this, you'll get more of that flare effect as well. So that's a really fun thing to play around with. Just the bare bulb behind one of these, backlit, it's going to look great.
Okay, the setup for the next one, is it possible to leave the backdrop there so that we don't block the students, and for you to put the light there?
Yes.
Okay, let's do it.
Absolutely.
So Katie,
we need an
can
extension.
you
come
stand here? And what I want is 2 black V-flats, one on either side.
Right. So we're going to use exactly the same setup as we did with the backlit. Apart from this is going to be pointing, because I don't have a wall back here, this is going to be pointing, we're only going to rely on the light that reflects back from this to onto that scrim. So I might have to turn this light up a little bit. So bring that scrim right here. And I think if we have it coming at this angle, it's going to look quite ugly because it's really flat. So I'm going to bring the scrim and the light up so we get a light that's coming kind of from above. Okay, John, we're going to go quite high. Yeah, let's go there. And then I'm going to angle this forward. That should just work. There we go. Just to give it the impression that it's like a skylight. Is this kind of what you had in mind, Sue?
I don't know. Can't wait to see it.
Sorry.
Can I have the bar stool and an apple box, John? Thanks, Danielle.
And again, I'm matching that angle, kind of. And what I'm looking for here is that the spread of this umbrella, and I can see it in the model light, is kind of covering this whole area. I see it coming off the bottom a little bit, so I could move it back, move it up, whatever. I'm just going to be lazy and do that, and now it's giving a nice spread. And I can just see that with the model light. So I'm going to have a look. Yeah, John, would you just put that up about half a foot still? Yeah, that's good. That's going to give us a light that kind of comes from up here in this direction, and it's going to feel like a window light from behind.
I'm going to do the shimmy again because it's fast enough. I want you standing.
Sue, I'll let you correct as you wish.
So the light source was behind me. It looked really, really beautiful. Where's our tether gone? And it blew me away, and I wondered if I could recreate this.
And you got the black, like kind of a black rim on both sides behind her?
Yeah, it wasn't so much a black rim. It was just this beautiful depth that I don't normally get from natural light.
Okay. And how far was the window behind you?
Right behind me, actually, like within a foot.
So you can do this in a small room?
So I was pushed up. I was this far away from my client, and I had my bum against the window, basically. Yeah, it was really close.
We're going to box you in.
Okay, push your chin towards me, Katie.
On both ends.
So, as you know, I'm not telling Katie to put her chin forward and down because she's long and lean, But I am telling her to put her chin forward because it makes a significant difference, even on lean bodies.
Go to ISO 100, and I'm going to, because you don't want to change your aperture, so I'm going to turn the power of this light down a little bit. This is the first time I've thought about the power of this light.
Can I put
It's fine, John, I've got enough.
Can I put on the neutral density filter?
Yeah, you can actually, let's do that, yeah. So then no one has to worry about the power of the light. That's the easiest way.
Why do we have this? Is that because...
Because flares, if you had a light source hitting the lens from this side, you would get a flare, light bounces.
So you keep it on when you're shooting in the studio?
No, I like flares. Sometimes.
Yeah, I do. I like
Depends on what you're after, really. You'll see it. When you see it for the first time, if there's lots of weird light coming to your lens, just put on one of these and it minimizes it.
You can see from that. You can't see where the threads are.
I got it.
That's good. You need a womanly touch, you see, John?
This won't fit.
So what are we going to do? We're going to just cut out some of that light. Yep. I haven't changed this at all.
So I'm going to set my neutral density filter. How many people here are going to buy a neutral density filter? Dun, dun, dun. Wish I sold those. Push your chin forward, Katie. Bam!
Yeah.
Okay, I feel like there's still a little bit too much light hitting the background. It's pulling her away from the background. Come towards me.
Yeah, if you do that.
Can we go back?
Yeah.
Onto scrim? Scrimmy scrim?
Yeah, and the further this goes away from the background, the less of that light is going to hit the background. And there's a...
Chin this way a little bit, darling. Stop.
It should go slightly darker. I mean, it's very gradual.
Okay.
Can you do this?
Yeah, sure.
Katie, would you hold that?
That's great. Have a look at that.
Wow, so you said we had 12 minutes. We've done this in 7. We've got 5 minutes left. It's
Yay.
like so fast.
Okay, so I want you to hold the dress at the back and I want you to pin your elbows. The reason we do that is because if I don't get her to pin her elbows and she turns with a flat arm against her body, which looks horrible. So when I'm getting her to hold her dress, she's actually doing something, so she's got a reason to hold her elbows back. And then I get her to do the little shimmy, and I get her to push her chin forward and look down because we love the lashes and the red lips. Slow down, but do stronger movement.
Sue, on your camera, you changed something?
Nothing. I just wanted a shot of her doing a shimmy.
Oh, okay. You didn't change your setting.
More movement and more smile. Push chin forward, Katie. Good girl. That was gorgeous. Okay, do it again. More movement. That's it. That's it. Oh, I like that. Okay.
And can I just make one point? If this looks harsh when you do it, double up your silks, make it thicker. That's going to make it softer. You want to get as much, if you want harsh light, it's a thin silk. If you want it to be really soft, just soften it up. Go ahead, Christina.
What if there was a wall behind what you're doing? Because right now...
Yeah, I would then then you wouldn't even need the umbrella. You can just bounce it off the wall and come back. Really easy. Go on, there was another question.
A little bit more of a smile. Push chin forward.
Okay.
Lips together. Push chin forward. Good girl. That was beautiful.
That's nice.
It doesn't look as nice on the screen. It looks pretty beautiful in here, though. I actually turned the density filter up another 2 stops. It's on 4.
So you're cutting out 4 stops of light from the flash. Yeah,
I am. And I could get her further away from the background because I have a big enough background to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really beautiful, and I love that.
Should we just show if we walked this 10 feet back, how it affects the background, just for the sake of, for fun?
So, Felix, I actually was talking to Susan, and I was kind of shocked at how much light is bouncing back, because that's what I usually think of as a shoot-through umbrella. So I wouldn't think it is bouncing that much back, and especially then when you've also got the scrim diffusing it, and you're working on ISO 100.
Especially when it's not, it was 2 feet from the wall or 3 feet from the wall, and now we have a ton of open space.
Yeah, can you talk a little bit about how much light actually bounces back from that umbrella?
I think that specific umbrella, it has a little bit of a sheen on the inside, so it bounces some light back. I'm sure the manufacturer could tell you percentages and everything. For me, I set it up. If it wasn't working this way, I would then turn it around. Sometimes you just have fabric and bounce that directly in. whatever works. This one happens to have a little bit of sheen, so it's bouncing light back. But, you know, if it doesn't work, change something. Just try. That's all I've been doing. So.
And does the M.H. Cooper photography was wondering whether the height of the ceiling makes a difference at all? If you're shooting in a home with 8-foot ceilings, does this still work?
Yeah, if you use your Christmas ball to see how much light you're getting from the ceiling, definitely if you had a ceiling right here, it would bounce a little bit. Sometimes that's really negligible. Sometimes it might be good to block the light by putting some, like a black fabric, pinning it to the ceiling. Just try to cut that out, and you can just control it whichever way, you know, or put some black V-flat on top of this setup to just stop it from bouncing.
Great.
I'll take another question.
Yeah.
Lola Salinas would like to know if you're using an ND filter right now, and
Yes.
if not, what? You are?
Yeah,
Okay.
because we were already at 125th of a second, we were already at ISO 100, and Sue wanted to stay at f2.8. So one of the ways you could stop the light from being so bright would be to go up in your aperture, but we wanted it to be, didn't necessarily have that option, we wanted to stay at f2.8. Sue, if you bring Katie off the backdrop and shoot in the same
So
manner.
I just did it then, so you can see it on the back of my camera. I'm at 1 stop of neutral density on the filter. I'm at 200 ISO because I wanted it soft and light, so I went up on my ISO. I'm at 125, 2.8. I've actually shot it just against the backdrop now. It looks quite contrasty on there, but you can see how soft it is on there. And when we edit that this afternoon, you'll be able to see how beautiful and soft it is. So come towards me even more, and I'll try and take the same shots at elbows in. Just bring your chin this way, honey.
And
Push your chin
the
forward.
backdrop should now be darker.
And she's brighter, so let me adjust.
And she's brighter, so if you turn it down.
Yeah, so I did turn, when I moved back to the wall, I turned the ISO up. So
Because she's now closer to that light, so it's gonna be brighter on her. So what have you gone to, ISO 100?
Yes.
Okay.
No, sorry, ISO 125.
Okay.
So if you compare those last two images, Nico, well, the one before the last, sorry. Yeah, so that was against the wall. No, sorry, the one before, that was the overexposed one. Yes,
There, yeah.
correct, perfect. So that was against the wall and that was away from it. I actually like against that backdrop,
Yeah.
look at that.
It's that shadow makes it kind of feel natural and nice. But as you move her away, and you have to compensate in your camera because you're getting more light, the backdrop then becomes darker.
Right, so let's pull the scrim back. Katie, I'm going to get you can go that way. Let's pull the scrim back so that students can see that screen because they can't see it. There. And any questions? You got time or are we out?
Yeah, we're getting really close, but I do have one final question that I do want to hit, which is talking about the backlit setup. Viorello wants to know, could you also do that with a giant softbox or octabox and putting the model exactly in front of the hot spot? Does that work?
Yes, it does. And I would diffuse, I have a giant Lassolite umbrella that I use, because my traveling kit, I can't get all this stuff in it. And I put a silk over the front of the umbrella, so Russ, it would end up being like, I think this would be too small to do that with. It would kind of look weird, but if you had a giant umbrella, watch out that with lights, they get hot, so just make sure you don't cover the vents. Do it like that, and if the model's head is covering that hot spot, you get that wrap around really nice. But it's so easy to make this flare. The best setup is this. Yeah.
Love it. All right.
All right, well, I think we're coming to the end of this segment, so that was awesome to watch that. And coming up next, we are going to be doing some Hollywood-style shooting. Talk about that a little bit, you guys.
We're going to use constant light, continuous lights, so we'll be able to see what we're doing while we're working. Sue really loves that. And we also have a MacGyver version of the same thing using just household lamps.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see how that works out. And Sue's going to show you some Hollywood poses.
Yep. It was really wonderful to study it, so I can't wait to show it because everyone loved it when we did our shoot and we got such big feedback from it. That's why we're standing here.
Exciting. Awesome.
So cool.
Looking forward to that one. All right, well, I just want to let everybody know that you have about an hour and a half left to submit your photo to the contest that we have going on. So if you go to facebook.com/CreativeLive, there is a photo contest button. And if you click that, you can submit one image.
Yes, and really quick, I want to personally apologize. I said yesterday that you could submit 2 images, both a natural light and a studio light one, and I was wrong. So I really apologize for the confusion that caused. It turns out we can only do 1, so we'll make sure to get that right in the future. But it is 1 image, either natural or studio.
Yeah, so hopefully, if you wanted to submit 2, you at least submitted 1 and are part of the contest. So it does end at noon Pacific time today, so that is about an hour and a half. So go ahead and submit your image. I just want to talk about some of the prizes. So there'll be 2 winners. There's a natural light winner and a studio winner. Sue is going to choose the studio light winner, and Felix is going to choose the natural light winner. Just to give you guys a little twist.
I like it.
So we are giving away Alien Skin Software Photo Bundle, which is incredible. The Animoto Pro 1-year account, and also the Lasso Light we're giving away. And that is the 8-in-1. Yes, the 8-in-1 reflector kit with tri-grip. We're giving away the Triple Scoop Music Subrai Signature Collection, as well as White House Custom Color Print. So it's a really cool bundle, well over $1,000. You guys have an hour and a half. Get to work.
Very awesome.
All right, also want to let you guys know that the thank you post is up on the CreativeLive Facebook page. So while you're there submitting your photo to the contest, please give them a nice thank you. So you'll see a photo of them, and it's a great way just to participate. All of the nice things you guys have been saying in the chat rooms, just put it on the Facebook page so that they can read the comments later. And there is, I mean, we haven't even announced it yet, and there's a ton of comments already. I'm going to read a few here. Lisa V said, "There's never a time that I've watched Sue teach that I have walked away without feeling better about who I am and what I do. She is beyond an inspiration. She is a jewel. Because not only do I learn from her, but I am uplifted by her." Very cool. Adrian Farr says, "Felix, you are an inspiration to all of us little people who for so long have been told that we are nobodies and never will be anybody. You and Sue give us the belief that we can become somebody with enough hard work and dedication." Yeah. Thank you. Cool, Adrian.
Love it. And there was one more that I actually loved. Virginia Marie Studios says, "I've already learned so much from this workshop. Sue and Felix are both so awesome. I've purchased the workshop since I have to go to work and can't watch the whole workshop live. I'm excited for new ideas and putting them into practice. Thank you both so much." And that is, again, the key that has been reiterated here over and over and over again is the importance of just going out and trying it, doing something, doing 1 light, doing a setup. We've shown you so many different techniques that you can try, but going out and actually doing it is the key. And sometimes, again, as we said yesterday, sometimes you'll forget something. You'll get it wrong. That's part of the process. Going out, experimenting, getting it wrong is part of the process. So I think that that's something that you absolutely want to make sure that you do, is go out, make that effort and try, find out what you did wrong, rewatch the course, and find out how to do it right. That's the benefit of purchasing Anytime access to the course, is that you do then have the ability to rewatch any segment you want. You also have access to all the bonus materials, including a huge packet that we're putting together with all of the Christmas ornament reference shots. We've got behind-the-scenes shots that Kate has been taking of the lighting setup, so you can see it from behind the scenes and how it looks. We're going to put in the final shots. We're going to put in so much in there that it's just going to really help you as a reference as you are working. So you'll have access to that, as well as the bonus retouching videos that Sue recorded last night. So much available to you as part of this purchase. So go ahead and make sure to consider doing that. There's a blue buy button directly below the video feed if you want to. And you can, it costs $149 for the 2 days. You can also get it for the discounted live price of $99 if you buy it right now. So go ahead and make that decision, and we'll see you back here in 15 minutes for more with Sue and Felix.
There are plenty of digital tools out there that can help you make stunning works of art, but none are more powerful than Adobe Illustrator. Join CreativeLive's Erica Gamet for a course dedicated to teaching you how to use this essential vector-based software. During this course, Erica will show you that you don't have to be an artist to get the most out of Adobe Illustrator. You just need to have a basic understanding of how each tool works. You'll learn how to work with text, create custom patterns and brushes, use Illustrator's built-in effects, and insider tips and tricks that only the pros know about. Erica will also walk you through advanced